Okay, so you guys remember when I bought that RAM and I put together my Ryzen 7 1700 build? Well, doing that basically left me with an entire spare system that I have nothing to do with. So I think today what I'm actually gonna do is find those parts a permanent home. So I've got this secondary PC that has been running kind of off to the side for a while now, and the parts are kind of aging. So I think this will be a perfect opportunity to go ahead and replace those. Let me show you guys what's going in here. If you've seen my videos before, you're probably familiar with them and sick and tired of them. Good news is that once they find this permanent home, you don't have to see them anymore. But I'm just gonna show you guys basically what I'm working with now. Oh, and there are some upgrades, so just keep watching. This is the system that's getting replaced. It's got an FX 8370 in it, an R9 290X Lightning, 8 gigabytes of RAM. I've got this 850 watt gold rated power supply, a bunch of storage here. Pretty much everything here is getting replaced. Aside from the storage, I'm actually gonna be carrying that over. I think I've got a 128 gigabyte SSD, like a 500 gigabyte hard drive, and then two 2 terabyte hard drive. So I'm gonna be carrying that over. Everything else here is getting replaced with this. Now, if you guys have seen my previous videos, a lot of these parts will look familiar. I used them in my sleeper build and my Roswell Cullinan build. Some of these even appeared in my ghetto test bench, but they are finally getting retired today into this system. So underneath this giant CPU cooler, we've got the Ryzen 5 1600. We've got 16 gigabytes of HyperX Fury RAM running at 2666 megahertz. We've got an RX 580 down here. We've got this new power supply that FSP just sent out to me, their Hydro PTM. This is an 80 plus certified, platinum certified power supply, which we'll talk about in just a minute. And then we've got some Noctua fans here all around. Now, initially I wasn't actually going to use this Be Quiet case since the cable management was trash, if you guys actually watched my review of this thing, but I actually needed a case that would allow me to use a 5 1/4 inch bay because I'm going to be installing a DVD burner or a Blu-ray burner, as well as support up to 3 hard drives, which I have here as well. So I needed something with that also had a tempered glass side panel. So this was pretty much really the only case that I had left over that would actually support that, other than the case that I did my Ryzen 7 1700 build in. So this is pretty much what I'm going to be rolling with going forward. I just have to go ahead and install the drives and do my cable management, and then I should be up and running. Oh, by the way, this is a Noctua NHD15. This is the AM4 Special Edition. It's only running 1 fan right now because the second fan was a little bit too close to the tempered glass for my taste, so I decided to just run 1 fan for now. So we'll see how that works out. But it's a pretty beastie cooler, so I expect it to be nice and quiet. I expect it to cool okay, so we'll see what's going on there. And then again, I've got matching Noctua fans for the exhaust, and then 2 up front there. So anything else? Oh, and the motherboard, MSI B350 PC Mate. Now this Hydro PTM unit that FSP sent out to me is 750 watts, which is obviously overkill for my particular setup. It does also come in 650 and 550 watts as well. So if you have a lesser demanding system, you can definitely get away with that. It's got a single 12 volt rail on here. It's fully modular, as you guys can see there, with all of the connectors, which I like. You only have to use the connectors that you want, so that will keep your cable management nice and clean. If we flip it over here, you can see on this side there is a 135 millimeter fan here. This particular power supply does not have what do they call that thing where it only spins up after a certain load? I forget what it's called off the top of my head, but this fan is spinning all the time although I think it's at like 700 RPM until like 65% load, something like that. So you won't get no noise at low load, but it shouldn't be too loud there either. One good thing about this power supply is it does come with these flat ribbon cables, and they're all black, so you don't have to worry about like any ketchup and mustard cables showing in your system or anything like that, which is nice. The only thing I did not see in here, which I actually think would be a good idea, is if they had like a short SATA cable with just one connector on the end. All of the SATA connectors here have, you know, the multiple plugs, so like if you were, you know, using it with a drive cage or something like that. But a lot of systems these days just have like dedicated SSD you know, drive cages, so it would be nice just to have, you know, just a short cable that's got that single SATA connector on it. I think Level 1 Techs did a review of a power supply here recently where they had a connector like that, and I was like, oh, that would be a great idea. No one's doing that, so I would like to see that from them. By the way, this unit is 80 plus platinum certified, which means it has a peak efficiency of 92%, which is at 50% load. One thing you guys do have to be careful about is not all power supplies meet their efficiency ratings, even though they may claim it meets a certain efficiency. It's always good to go ahead and take a look at reviews where they do testing of the units just to make sure they meet their claims. I've never seen FSP not meet a particular claim for their power supplies, but it does happen every now and then. So it's just something that you have to keep an eye out for. I do know PC Perspective did a review of this particular unit where they tested it, and it did actually meet its claimed efficiency ratings, so that is nice. So unless I happen to have a dud unit here, it should be just fine. Fortunately, I really don't have any equipment like that to test it, so we will just have to take PC Perspective's word for it, but I think they are pretty trustworthy. So let's take a look inside this thing, and hopefully I don't blow myself up. Here we go. They say not to open power supplies, so what do? Open this baby up. All right, this thing's off of here, and warranty is officially voided. Look at this fan. That looks pretty nice. You can see here we've got some two beefy massive caps right there, rated at 105C. This component right here helps with the voltage regulation. Everything looks put together pretty well. Not that I would know the difference either way. I mean, unless something was you know, knocked over completely, or like, hey, why the hell is that just sitting there? But as far as I can tell, everything looks pretty solid up in here. So this is the first time I've actually taken a power supply apart, or actually taken the cover off, and we didn't die. So we're doing pretty good so far. So so far so good though, FSP. Oh, how about this one? Yeah, there you go. So far so good. So it's actually been a couple days since I worked on this thing because of a massive oversight. I've actually got 5 SATA devices and only 4 SATA ports on my motherboard. I got a DVD burner going there. I've got 1, 2, 3 hard drives going there, plus an SSD, which means that's 5 total SATA devices. But if you look at this motherboard, there's only 4 ports. What kind of is that? Man, that sucks. I tried to hit up a couple companies to see maybe if they could send me some larger capacity hard drives, maybe like 2 4 terabyte drives or something like that, or maybe an M.2 PCIe SSD, and they were not trying to hook your boy up. So in the meantime, I'm going to have to take off the 500 gigabyte hard drive. I'm just gonna split whatever I had on that drive between the two 2 terabyte ones, and we'll just have to roll that way until I can update the storage. I'm pretty sure these connectors are upside down. Like, look at this. What is going on? I don't get it. But that's a pain in the ass, because that means I gotta use an extra freaking SATA cable in order to get to all my drives and stuff. I don't know what's up with that, FSP. All right, boys, this thing is done. I literally just turned this on for the first time. Haven't even configured the fans or the lighting or anything like that, but it's all put together, as you guys can see. I probably won't run that blue lighting there just because nothing else is lit up in this case, so it's kind of just standing out, being a little awkward, but I think it looks pretty nice. The cable management is garbage, but that's mostly the case's fault, and doesn't help that some of the connectors are upside down on the power supply. I just got that kind of luck when it comes to building systems, but overall I would say the main compartment looks pretty legit. You can see my Noctua fans there on the intake and exhaust side, and that big CPU cooler. So far, without adjusting everything, it actually sounds pretty quiet under idle, except for this power supply, man. I kind of like the Hydro G better just because, well, at least from a noise standpoint, that one didn't actually turn the fan at all until a certain load, and this one's spinning all the time. It's a little bit louder than I care for, so yeah, we may switch that out, but we'll see. That Blu-ray drive installed there, big beefy Noctua cooler. Got my 2 hard drives there. SSD is on the back. And yeah, cable management doesn't look that great in the back, but you can't really see it anyways, so that's all right. All I have to do now basically is install, I'm gonna reinstall Windows, see if there's a BIOS update that I can download, and then I'll go ahead and reinstall Plex, maybe some Steam games or something like that, and then we'll be up and running on this system. So this is just a quick video I wanted to make. You guys let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. These parts are officially retired, going into the secondary PC, so hopefully in the future builds, we'll be messing with some new hardware. Hopefully some Ryzen Plus or Zen 2, whatever you want to call it. So we'll see what's going on in the future, but make sure you guys like this video if you like this type of content. Subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys next time. I'm out of here. See ya. Oh, there's my hand. All right, see ya.